Hey everybody, want to welcome you. Thank you for being here. Want to go through a few different things after we've had just a really amazing day on the market today. Want to take a look at a couple different things in the history in the past over the last few days, and kind of give us an idea for where we're going. So the first thing that I want to look at is sort of a little bit of the history here. You can see that in many cases over the last few days, we've seen some head and shoulders patterns, right? And then we've seen some consolidation. We saw another head and shoulders, and basically after we got down to the bottom of this head and shoulders, a couple things that we'll kind of take a look at here on these head and shoulders. Basically, the bottom was about at the same place. Of course, there was just a little bit of a decrease, but generally speaking, the start of the first head and shoulders to the end, and then the start of the next head and shoulders to the end was all pretty much in about the same spot. That really didn't change, and so we can take this as a pretty strong area of support, and that happened to be at about $8,900. We did see at the bottom of this head and shoulders here, and actually if we take an even closer look, we'll see that what we actually saw here was a 1, 2, 3 dives. So we saw the 3 dive on our pattern here, and that's when we started to see the accumulation. So just wanted to point that out. We saw 3 dives as we went down. I would not call it an Elliott wave, but I would say that we definitely dove 3 times here before we eventually did pick back up. One other thing that I'll point out here is looking at the RSI down here below our threshold here, which I've got it set at about 20. But as soon as we got below this point, we were definitely bearish at that point. So this would have been right around here at the tip of this shoulder, and if we actually take it back, it's going to be about right here where we saw that we were moving down, down into the bearish zone here on the RSI. Now we saw ourselves pull out of that here at approximately this point, which gives you a little bit of leeway here for selling and then buying back cheaper. We were kind of going sideways there for a while. We did have these waves that got played, and then we saw ourselves move up. We moved up above 80 on our Stochk RSI, and that again is a very bullish move. And as long as we're staying above there, that is a bullish that's a bullish chart based on just the RSI. We did see the momentum and the TTM squeeze as we moved out up into the 80 plus range. We actually did enter a squeeze, and we exploded right out of it. We went from 88.75, we exploded up to 91.33. So that's about a 300 and some odd dollar increase in price. And this started another head and shoulders, and we could see this start to appear as it went through. And you can see here, approximately at this point, this is where we're seeing ourselves, again, go back down into our no trade zone, if you will. So you have the opportunity to to sell, and we saw this go down. And the longer it stays under here, we're continuing to see that as a bear market. I'm only looking at the 1 hour chart here, but as we move forward to where we are today, again, I'm seeing our support. And if you saw as I was scrolling over, you could see this support that I saw here at $8,900 is where I'm seeing our support continuing to be. We saw support here. This was 2 days ago. We saw support in this area, and we bounced out of it. And we basically haven't touched it ever since. We've been moving up ever since we hit this zone, which is basically our bounce zone. So this long wick here that we see on this candle that extended down to about $8,800, that does weaken our support just a little bit. So if we do happen to find ourselves moving down and down, towards this area again, it could be possible that we could go a little lower. We could potentially get to 8,800, 8,700. Actually, if we're looking on the 1-day chart here, which, we're trying to predict the future a little bit, on our cloud chart, we're seeing our support, strong support is going to be here at about 8790, 8800. So that's going to be a strong area of support. If we fall through that, our next area of support is probably not going to be until about $8,500. You can see that I've got two different fib retrace, areas of support that we can find here. One is more long-term and one is more short-term. The blue is our long-term retrace, and the orange lines here, those signify our short-term retrace. So we're going to see an awful lot of support here at 8450 to 8550. In this area, we're going to see a lot of support if we do happen to get down there. But at this moment in time, it doesn't look like we're going to be heading down, at least in the next couple hours. Could potentially kind of move sideways here for a while. We can see here in the 1-hour chart, we haven't really dumped a whole lot. We've seen some downward movement, and then we saw a rise, and we're seeing a little bit of downward movement, but it's not anything major. So my guess is we're going to probably be moving sideways here between probably $9,600 and $9,750. We might move sideways like that for a little while, and it could potentially be tomorrow where we kind of go down a little bit more. But if you look again here at our cloud, let me zoom in just a little bit more and just kind of show you where we're looking at here as far as support goes. You can see here. And as part of these indicators that we have for our Ichimoku cloud, when we were under this little red indicator line, we bounced off of these areas multiple times, and it took volume. You can see here we had a lot of volume to get through it. We got under it, a lot of volume to push us back down. Then we saw a decent amount of volume to get us back up. We've basically been moving around this, but eventually, we had our bears sort of give up a little bit and just let the price continue to go up. And then more recently, within the last 2 to 3 days, we have seen support at that line where we previously saw resistance. And it does happen to coincide almost perfectly with our fib retrace that's based on our short term, which is at $9,100. But on the Ichimoku cloud settings, we're looking at our support here at $9,060. So we are well up here, and we bounced off of our short-term retrace that was at 97.50 approximately. We bounced off of that, and you can see we're sort of kind of trending downward a little bit for the time being. Right now, this is still what I would consider a healthy correction. This is not a major dumping action. We don't have a whole lot of volume here. We have people taking profit. Nothing wrong with that. So long term, I do think that there is a potential that we could fill this cloud and do an end-to-end, although there is a lot that's going to have to happen for Bitcoin to really get all the way back up to 11,600. It would be an awful lot to get there. We've got a lot of resistance to get through. We've got our 10,500 resistance. We've got more resistance we'll see at 11,000. So for us to get all the way up here, it's going to be quite a bit of work. So be looking to see what happens. Of course, I always say this: take profits, don't be greedy, all that good stuff. So we had a really good day. I did happen to take some profits earlier today, and it felt pretty good. So hopefully you were able to take advantage of some of this. I do want to take a look at Ethereum, which Ethereum is up about 10% for the day. And if we look at this, we are really looking really good for Ethereum to get up to about $800 to $900 over the next maybe next 3 to 4, maybe 5 days, unless of course Bitcoin decides to head back down a little bit, because of course Ethereum USD is based on the Bitcoin USD value. So a lot of different things can happen here. But again, this is looking like just healthy market movement. If I had to take a look here on the 1 hour chart, taking a look at the RSI and our TTM squeeze, so our momentum is looking like we're sort of moving downward a little bit. So potentially, we could see within the next few hours, right? So we're talking more short term. I can see Ethereum kind of moving down to potentially $715. It could go down here to recharge a little bit before it decides to move back up. Right now, the RSI is moving downward, so this could potentially cross down below 20. And if that happens, then it's a really good indicator that you should probably get out for a little bit, wait for a reversal for this to come and pop back out of the 20 mark for the Stochk RSI. I'm keeping an eye on this short-term blue this blue indicator line for the Stochk RSI. I want it to go below for a sell, and I want it to pop up above for a buy. But definitely, we're looking at the momentum moving downward, and we don't know how long it's going to continue downward, but we know that after you have a massive green candle, you're obviously going to have people that are going to be wanting to take profits, to accumulate, whatever that may be. So long term, over the next maybe week or so, I do see Ethereum easily being able to pump itself up to $800 to $900. But a lot of that's going to be dependent on what Ethereum Bitcoin, so ETH BTC, is going to do. But for the day chart, you can see we're still in sort of this no trade zone. You'd be in a holding pattern, but it looks like we're starting to see a little bit of a reversal here. And so we're starting to cross paths again here, just like we did a while back when we saw this green candle. You can see when we saw ourselves crossing, we had a green candle and we moved up, and we've basically been moving up since we saw that first divergence. And we did pop down a little bit, but we're popping right back up. So it's potential. This is, well, it almost is guaranteed this is going to continue moving up a little bit, but definitely we're going to see a little more profit taking, maybe consolidate back down. We're going to definitely see some support here at $725 before it potentially goes back up. So that's a good opportunity to potentially to accumulate a little bit and get it to move back up. All right, one more. I'm going to take a look here at Litecoin. Litecoin happens to be at $160.30 at this moment in time. I've seen, I've seen some downward movement. I have a trend line here that I have that's based off of our shorter term 1 hour chart. So I'm looking at this from the perspective. Let me just kind of zoom out a little bit over here, see if we can see this. We have sort of a trend line that I drew, and it seems like we bounced off of this support. So we had a little bit of resistance. We saw the resistance occur here where this candle just stopped at this point. And then we saw when this candle opened, we saw a lot of selling pressure that was reversed and it was moved up. So I'm using this as a definite point for support at this point. It was resistance, and now it has turned into support. And we can also see here on the next hour candle, we saw another attempt to push it down below this this trend line, and it was not able to make it. And it moved up quite a ways. It moved up to about $163. It moved down again, and you can see it tried again here at $158.50. It tried to push down through, wasn't able to, and it's moving itself right back up. So we're seeing a lot of really great volume. You can see all of the volume that we've seen here today. And if we compare that to the history, really the only decent volume that we have seen is just a lot of selling volume, and then a little bit of green here, of course, because we saw a lot of sells, but the candle turned green, so our volume indicator here does look green. But there was a lot of volume here that took to get this price to stay above this fib retrace that we have here at about $145. So I'm seeing our major support that's probably going to be sitting. Our new support level is going to be at $148, and then we have another support at this point, which is going to be at about $155, $154, $155. So definitely have a lot of support here at this level. We have a lot of support down here based on these candle closures. That's where I'm getting these numbers from, in case you're curious. But Litecoin USD has a lot of potential over the next maybe month, to to actually go up to about $240. It's going to have a lot of resistance here at about $196. But yeah, definitely we have a lot of potential for it to continue moving up. So that's just a real quick analysis that I've got for you right now. And feel free to like, subscribe, share the video with all of your friends who want to spread the news. And of course, I've got the link to the Discord here in the video description. Feel free to join there. We'd love to have you around. Have a good day, everybody.